Hello all. Welcome back to yet another exciting and insightful session of two-day virtual higher EdTech innovation conclave organized by APAC News Network. I welcome all of you to a very important session on leveraging digital platform in higher education. We have with us Professor Dr. Tabriz Ahmed, Vice Chancellor, GD Goenka University. Welcome, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you so much for joining us. We have with us Dr. Surya Prasada Rao Suvaru, Director, Teaching Learning Cell, Shada University. We welcome Dr. Subara. We have with us Dr. Sharad Maiskar, Pro Vice Chancellor, NMIMS, deemed to be University. Welcome, Dr. Maiskar. We have with us Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Yenepoa, deemed to be University. We also have with us Dr. B. Sendil Kumar, Dean and Director, Health Sciences, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, deemed to be University. And we have with us industry leader, Mr. Atish Shukla, Practice Head Higher Education Research at GS Technologies. Before we start the session, let me give you an insight of what has happened throughout the days in the morning. In the inaugural session, we had the August presence of eminent thought leaders from the higher education ecosystem, from government and government institutes. We had Professor Saroj Sharma, Chairperson, National Institute of Open Schooling, Colonel B. Venkat, Director, AICTE, Dr. Vinny Jawhari, Learning and Skills Lead, Microsoft, Dr. Biswajit Shah, Director, CBSC, Naveen Mittal, IS Officer, said Collegiate Commissioner of Technical Education, Government of Telangana, Professor K. Rama Mohan Rao, Vice Chairman of Andhra Pradesh State Council of Higher Education, and Professor V. Venkat Ramana, Vice Chairman of Telangana State Council of Higher Education. They were part of inaugural session. The theme of inaugural session was role of government, fast forwarding the changes for future education. It was followed by a panel discussion on building world-class digital campuses and another panel discussion on tomorrow's blended academic curriculum. And now we have this important session on leveraging digital platforms in higher education. So without taking much time, let me first put a question to Dr. Tabriz Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed, uh, how can technologies like augmented reality or gamification and others can be better leveraged to develop cognitive skills of students in institutions of higher education? Your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Savik, for inviting me. Also, let me thank the APAC News Network for organizing a great program on the digital platform. That we know very well that we realized the importance during pandemic that how the technology can be a great support for leveraging and raising the quality of education. Because, in fact, I'm great supporter that supporting the faculty of those areas where it is not actually very value addition. For example, calculation of attendance, or maybe the grading of the student, or maybe evaluation process and all. So there may be a lot of areas where the faculty is not required always to be engaged, where we can find out the supporting technology. So technology can be helping the faculty, and the faculty can be really engaged in the quality teaching and bringing out the outcome as per defined that by the Bloom's taxonomy, or by defined by the kind of course outcome, or program specific outcome. So they have to engage in trying to bring the outcomes, and also they can be engaged the serious research. We know very well that we are lagging behind in the research as a country, and also mostly we are not able to create something very novel, innovative. If you compare to the foreign universities, our research output is not very kind of comparable to the best university in the world. So that's why the technology can help the faculty to raise the kind of teaching, and also to raise the quality of the research. This way, I think it will be great support by the tech companies and also the universities. So a lot of, I think, the synergy is required, that the tech companies should understand the problems of the university and the faculty. So they have to bring the technology, and also then faculty will get relief, and also will be focusing a lot where they're required to focus, raising the value of the teaching and research. Thank you.
Right. As Dr. Ahmed have said that technology can help in the research sector, if I may say so, especially for the faculty and upgrading their strength as well. I'll come back to Dr. Ahmed. Let's have a perspective from Dr. Surya Prasad Rao Subbaru, Director of Teaching Learning Cell of Sharda University. Dr. Surya Prasad, your thoughts on that, please.
Yeah. First of all, let me thank the organizers for giving a wonderful opportunity here. Friends, the technology is now part of active learning. The active learning can be said, experiential learning. The experiential learning is possible through two ways. One is physical participation. The second one is, e-learning, experiential e-learning. The physical participation, most of the activities we do through academic service learning, role plays, case studies, capstone projects, internships, cooperative learning, active service learning, practicum, and study abroad, community-based learning, etc., are all physical learning, activities. There are, because of the pandemic and thanks to the pandemic, the technology has been used extensively, even in the experiential learning. And most of the tools we use for experiential learning online are gamification, that scenario analysis, and simulations, and most importantly, the social media learning. So most of the students and teachers are also actively participating in these forums to disseminate their knowledge and sharing their experiences and encouraging the students to go for hands-on learning. So learning is possible in both the ways, physical as well as experiential e-learning. So my take on experiential e-learning is very, very important apart from physical, because the gamification is nowadays becoming very, very active part in the pedagogical tools. That's, I believe.
So, Dr. Surya Prasad Rasuvar is saying that technology can be used or being used extensively for experiential learning as well, and thanks to pandemic, that change is now evident in most of the places, if I may say so. I'll come back to you, Dr. Subaru. Let's have a perspective from Dr. Sharad Maiskar, Pro Vice Chancellor, NMIMS deemed to be university. Dr. Sharad, if I may ask you that, how are the tools like mind maps and concept maps being leveraged better for more experiential learning? Your thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, good evening, Sovik, and good evening to you all, my panelists. Uh, Before we go to this issue of using tools like mind maps and concept maps and other things, I must say that uh, you know uh, student participation, attention and learning span and attention span are some of the issues which have been listed as the most difficult to tide over in this last 10-15 years of delivery. And it's not only a problem in online education. Of course, online education, the problem was accentuated more. But I must say, in the offline education also, we had this problem of active learning and going beyond the rote learning to ensure that the students learn, their brains are challenged, they practice, and then they learn it in a better way, retain it in a better way. And then when they go to the industry, they should be able to, apply it in a good way. Keeping students engaged for a period of 90 minutes a session in management schools and engineering schools, maybe around an hour or 2 hours, is itself a big challenge. And unless we go into active learning modes, we cannot engage students effectively. And even while in a online mode or offline mode, I feel that whenever we were students also, whenever a teacher explained to us in a beautiful visualization mode, graphical mode, we understood this quite well, and we felt that this is a way to learn. So visualization of of any concept is the best way to learn and remember it. It actually gets embossed in your mind and your brain, and when you want to recall it, you immediately recall that picture, and then you can see the ideas flowing out from this. Like in the mind maps, where you think of a central idea and then ideas emanating or radiating from this central concept, and then the concepts get developed as you go move away from the central idea. This is the best way of learning. If you give me a text to read, uh, I find it very difficult, and somebody presents to me a graphical way of it. Like in the case of computer programming, you have a chart, flow chart, which is then very clearly illustrating the flow of the logic, and then converted into a program. So mind map, like as you say, radial idea radiating towards different things and concepts made clear from that. or even simple charts, tables, Venn diagrams, timelines. All those things, if you present themselves in a visual mode while we are delivering, whether it is online or offline, I think that helps us more in experiential learning, helps students to retain the ideas better, helps students to recall the ideas better when they see the map or the visualization that is there in front of them. And that is how I think learning is better. And that is how, when they want to apply it to a problem, when they have to go to a cognitive learning aspect of the principles, that is where they feel it is beneficial. As soon as you want to apply it to something, you get completely an image, a visualized form of the entire concept, and that is where the ideas and concepts get clear. Even if you want to revise something, I think that's the best way of seeing a visual uh, treat of it. Then you can think, introspect, and then write down your ideas in a better way. I think these are very important tools in active learning, in ensuring cognitive skills are sharpened, and these must be practiced more so in the online mode, where we find that there is not no connect really between the course instructor and the students, especially when the group is large as 60, 70, 80, and so on. So they are very useful tools. They should be used in a very effective way. And I must say that if we don't use it, we are not challenging the students' minds and the thought process.
Right, interesting take, interesting, and I'm sure it's quite right when Dr. Maiska have said that it is always better to represent things visually, in visual mode, because that helps students to remember, students to connect well. And again, technology can be leveraged in that sphere as well. I'll come back to Dr. Maiska. Let's have a perspective from Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Yenapoa Deemed to be University. Dr. Vijay Kumar, your take on that, please. If you can unmute your mic, please.
The student generation is looking at everything digital only. That only attracts them, not our days of the chalk and board. More importantly, once something is attractive and they start liking it, then the chances of their concentration focusing on that goes up psychologically. So that way, they will be engaged much better. As somebody was trying to tell me about engaging them, I'm telling. Coming to the mind map and concept map, they are basically, I would say, from the similar concept only they started, but the mind map is more like a tree chart organization, and it will be very useful for brainstorming. A problem is given, and I expect so many people to come out with different ideas and solutions for that problem. Then the mind map will be very useful. And once they start doing that, trying to come with some solutions from whatever theoretical knowledge they have already gained, then that will be stuck to them much more strongly than just trying to mug something and come up. So their application mind and everything will be better when you are trying to do this brainstorming part, and they get actively engaged, not that passive listening to somebody, but here they're actively engaged. And it also is more flexible mind map when compared to the concept map, where the concept map is more logical. And also the they are they are going to be verifiable due to its connection words. It is a concept map, whereas the mind map is not non-verifiable, and hence it can be used as a much bigger tool for a larger maps, etc. So I personally feel that mind map and the brainstorming, idea generation, etc., will be much more useful rather than the didactic lectures which we are used to. This is my take on that. And as I said, engaging them actively will be the only way to get their attention and focus on that subject. Thank you.
Engaging students with their full attention and um, a mind mapping tool can be a great enabler for brainstorming. That's what Dr. M. Vijay Kumar was trying to say. Let's have a perspective from Dr. B. Sendil Kumar, Dean and Director, Health Sciences, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, Deemed to be University. Dr. Sendil Kumar, your thoughts on this, please. If you can unmute your mic, please.
fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So mind mapping is a useful technique that supports learning, improves information recording, and also shows how different fact and ideas are related and enhances creative problem solving. This helps to make association to and also to generate new ideas. It also help to break down the larger products into and topics into manageable chunks, so that one can plan effectively without getting overwhelmed and without forgetting something which is more important. So my perspective regarding this mind map and would be a better choice than concept map. Over to you.
Right, right. As Dr. Sanjay Kumar is saying, how mind mapping can help in various things for students' engagement. We'll come back to you. Uh, we have with us Atish Shukla, practice at higher education and research at US Technologies. Atish, if I can just take the focus from this to another perspective, because we're talking about leveraging digital platforms in higher education. If I may ask you that, what are the technology trends and challenges you see in higher education? Because you're into technology, and your company looks after the technology for various sectors. Education is one of the focus area as well. So, your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much, Savik, for this having me on this panel discussion. So, bit of my background that I have been working on the technology aspects of higher education and research for almost 12 years now. And I have always loved these passionate discussions on higher education and research. And my greetings and thanks for having me on this panel. Now, if I look back around 6 to 7 years, when technology was only being used to have a operational efficiency in the university. Now, I have seen that situation when university stakeholders were struggling for operational excellency, automation, and so on. But now, 2022, I see that technology is not only helping the automation and operational efficiency, but now we are moving towards a digital campus. I firmly believe cloud is the future, and we all would be moving towards a digital campus. And the traditional problems and the challenges of physical campus would go away, and a digital campus would come. Some might argue that this is too early to talk about a digital campus completely, and we are still in the blended learning phase. But then I remember a quote which says, future comes too early and it comes unorganized. And this is where I'm seeing a technology trend moving on. So if I have to summarize, what am I looking right now from technology perspective in higher education and research? There are four things. Number one, digital campus. We have been working on the problem statements of a physical campus till now, the automation, the workflows, the collaboration between our departments. But now the reality is that we are moving towards a digital campus. And pandemic gave us a quick hint, like why is it so necessary to have a digital campus? And I must say that the education outreach would tenfold at least if we move towards a digital campus. But then I would like to appreciate a fact Dr. Sharad sir has mentioned, that the engagement of the student. And that's the second point I would like to mention here. With the digital campus, the biggest problem which I foresee, and I have been talking to industry leaders, is that how do you keep a student engaged? And how do you make sure that when he or she is not being proctored, he is listening to the content? And the answer to it is student experience. And when we log in as a student on a digital platform, our unconscious mind would always compare the technology of a university with the social media platform. And there will be unconsciously a question would arise in the mind of a student: is this what can engage me for next 90 minutes? And is this the right experience I'm looking for? And that's the problem statement I have been talking to many CIOs in India. Like, how do you keep a student engaged? And my answer to that is the right student experience. If I talk about the third aspect, it's affordable education. Now, we have been spending a lot on making sure that the quality education is rendered to the student, but then again, I'll go to my point number one, that we are leveraging towards a digital campus, and we need to make sure that the education is provided to all the students at a affordable platform and affordable rate. And this will come again due to technology enablement. The amount of time that we spend today or maybe 5 years before on operational reporting, compliance reporting, talking to interdepartment workflows, and so on, would drastically decrease in a digital campus, and we'll be more focused on student enablement and engagement with the faculty. These are the three or four trends. Analytics is one more point, which I believe is a very important aspect, because if I look at a scenario, how do I change, how do I make sure that the feedback I'm getting from the system is appropriately given back to the system? Like, is my student really enjoying the curriculum and the way I'm teaching? Is he really engaged? Those kind of analytics would also play a critical role. So that's a quick summary of it, and this is what I've been observing. And we deal in SAP solutions. I'm sure Dr. Sharad is well aware of it, and that's the summary of the trends and the challenges I have been observing till now.
So according to Atish, there are four parts. One is a digital campus, that will be the future. Uh, Student engagement. How do we ensure that students are engaged during the online in part of education, and affordable, making the education affordable for all, and how important role can be played by analytics to assess whether things are going right or wrong. So
Yeah,
uh,
and also Shavik, the student experience part.
student
Pardon
experience
me
part,
for
yes.
emphasizing it so much, but then if I open a university app on my mobile and I'm not able to tell my conscious mind that this is best in class mobile app for me, then I'm not engaged. So the student experience part plays a critical role as well.
True, 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 true. Thanks for those insights. I'll come back to you, Atish. Dr. Ahmed, you heard other speakers as well as Atish. What is your take on that? That future lies with digital campus, where we put more focus on student experience, along with analyzing the process and to bid for a better outcome. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm a great supporter of the idea of the student engagement and experience. And we know very well that there are a lot of IT companies, a lot of AI has come up to ensure that the engagement level can be tested. This Chinese actually company, what they have developed a kind of software where you can put two pins on the head of the students, and then you can moderate on a computer, and you see that how much class is fully engaged, who is engaged, who is not engaged. Because this way, I think technology can help us to understand the engagement levels, and then if those are not engaging, we can really come up to them and understand why they're not engaged and take some kind of the measures to make them engaged. Regarding the experience, we know very well that because of support of the technology, learning will be enhanced, because earlier days we used to make a lot of notes, we have to go and do xeroxing and all. Now because of the technology, now we have a lot of good online journals. Even AI can help us to refine the case search. If you talk about the legal education, we have to go to the this library and xerox the AIR. Sometime AIRs are very old, pages are torn off from the AIR, not get the actual case. Now because of the support of AI, even you can filter out the case. You can also do a search that what was the judgments delivered by a particular judge, and you can see the pulse of the particular case and understand that what is the ideology of the judge. So whether judgment will be in favor or not, and what kind of judgments you can cite. So this kind of support is provided by the AI. It is great support to the lawyers, because they can save a lot of time to searching of the cases. So relevant cases, a case by a judge decided earlier cases, you can find out the relevance and judgment will be in your favor or against you. Accordingly, you can make your brief and cite those relevant cases without wasting too much time. So that's why the support in the research, finding, also preparation of the material, and also retrieving the best material, because now because support of the online journals, you can get the best material, best kind of articles, and you can just share on WhatsApp group anywhere. Earlier you used to do xerox and circulate. So because of support of the technology, even for learning, quality has raised. We can save a lot of time, and also we can really focus on the quality. So this support of the technology the engagement level can be increased, even learning can be increased, and experience can be very good, and there'll be 24/7 learning. You can also learn by the during traveling without wasting the your time. So this way, I think a lot of support can be provided by the technology. But regarding the affordability, I don't agree with the Ashish was saying that Ashish Shukla regarding affordability, because see what we have seen in pandemic, only 30% students and university were running and learning. 70% could not learn because there were lack of infrastructure, lack of training, understanding, and all. So even because of the cost of technology, it is going very high and high, and very few universities in the country will be able to afford. That's why then government support or somewhere some leveraging is required, where at least the universities which are in rural areas will be able to afford these technologies. Okay, thank you.
So that was a take by Dr. Uh, Tabriz Ahmed. Let's have a perspective from Dr. Surya Prasad Rao Sulvaru. Dr. Sulvaru, your thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, actually, experience learning, I agree with Dr. Tabrich. And most importantly, we have to use AI ML tools both for learning and assessment, because the students, it is our observation and it's our experience that the students are distracted like anything. Even during the pandemic, though there are so many people started offering the content delivery online mode, but the learning is lost to a greater extent. Lot of learning loss happened during the pandemic for the last 2 years. And then slowly, the organizers, these institutions, the universities, the academic institutions realized that how to check this kind of, the distractions and how to make the students more engaged. Then they started using, the digital infrastructure, the AI ML tools for proctoring the examinations. Though there are so many multiple choice questions are given and the essay type questions are asked and the students are comfortably writing and sharing that, but the major challenge was the evaluation. Evaluating the scripts, downloading that, it has become a huge challenge. So what I suggest is that we need to use the technology for content delivery and content evaluation. That evaluation also should not be, the at the end of the semester. It should be continuing with, throughout the process of delivery of the content. Like, it should be on a continuous evaluation basis. No kind of, summative. It is a formative type of, assessment. So continuously it can be evaluated, continuously it can be monitored, and continuously the student can be supported with, of course, other tools, again, digital tools. But the major challenge here is how many students have access. The major cities may and major institutions may provide the access, but the rural areas, even today, they are facing a lot of difficulties. It's not that easy. That's why I agree with Atish that the affordability is a major, challenge. The tech, even how many universities have complete digital infrastructure, that is the reason why most of the academic institutions are collaborating with the edutech companies, both for technology and for the content delivery, and encouraging the students to join online courses, because NEP also is giving a scope, giving an opportunity to enroll up to 40% credits of the total program can be earned through online programs, maybe Coursera, Udemy, or NPTEL, MOOCs, etc. Anything is possible. The students are given the choice, and the courses can be done also. But most of the students, what I understand is they are going for maybe super specialized courses or the courses which will help them immediately after completion of their degree for placement opportunities. They are focusing. But in the days to come, the students may focus on even the learning core areas of the subject, and maybe continuously doing the specialization and super specialization courses. So we need to use technology not only for content delivery, content, developing, and should be used the evaluation of the program also. the evaluation of the performance of the students. We can't say evaluation, we say assessment. So assessment should be on a continuous basis using the technology, because using the technology for assessment, gives us a chance of no question of personal bias, because the AI tools are developed in such a way which we can evaluate the performance or assessment of the student done on rational basis, no bias, completely based on the technology, which can be transparent, which can be verified, which can be explained very well to the student. So we need not defend ourselves why the student is given low marks or high marks. It is 100% transparent, and it can be proved at any time because it is recorded, and it's an archive. Anytime it can be brought back and shown to the students. And of course, the space, the cloud space, the tech firms should provide that kind of things, because most of the universities are self-financing universities, self-financing institutions. It is so difficult for a university to have everything on its own. So collaborations will help, but the collaborations should be on affordable rates. That's very important.
Collaborations are crucial. Interesting take by Dr. Surya Prasada. Let's see how Dr. Sharad Mahesh think about that. Dr. Sharad, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you, Sarvik. And I think Professor Rao also talked about a lot of things. I agree with Atish that, Atish, sorry, uh, that, in our universities, one of the main problems is that, the volume of students we handle. uh, if you look at the way we are, accompanying the students in the journey, we find that every year, we are so possessed of the assessment and evaluation and then declaring the results, progression. They just pass out in the fourth year, third year, whichever the year is. But we have no time to give feedback to the students. The entire journey that the student has at a higher education institute, the student experience, what Atish was saying, is completely lacking in our organizations. And that is very important. It's okay if I get very good marks. But when we meet our students who are there abroad in some programs, they always tell us that I got A plus grade. But then still I was given a feedback that, look, you are very good at this, but you can still improve in this area, this aspect. And students, of course, who are not doing well, we can certainly give a feedback to them in different ways. So we lack in giving student feedback, and that is one of the most important component of a student experience. Because as a student navigates, he's just giving exams and exams and exams, but he's not getting appropriate feedback, not even getting a timely feedback. Semester one is on, tests are over, but he gets the result, moves to the next semester. There is no appropriate and timely feedback that, look, you did not do well in this area of this course. You need to do something on this. That is one important thing as the student engages and comes into any program. But before that, as Atish was mentioning, there is also a experience of student getting to your portal, getting to your website. When he goes to the website, what is he looking at? Is he completely engaged with the website? What is it that he is liking about the website? All these experiences and feedback we don't give back to the students, and this is very important. So we should look at the journey of a student before he comes to the university, when he's a potential candidate, till he goes out of the program and then becomes an alumni. All this is not being captured in our entire journey, and this is where I think technology is giving a big boost to us now. We are trying to map the skills of the student as he goes through. We also have on the other side, what are the skills required by a student if he wants to adopt certain or go to a certain job profile. So at the moment, there are a number of platforms like Coursera and many other platforms where we can gauge the student for his skills when he's passing through the journey of a program. Gauge his skills at the moment, compare them with the required tools or skills required at the end of a program and for a particular job profile, and guide him and tell him that, look, you are good at this, you need to do these courses so that you can get to the skills required for the industry. And this is, I think, a great thing that industry is now giving us, that is mapping the present student skills and strengths, comparing it with the expectations of the industry for a certain job profile, and then telling, look, for the 100% requirements that the industry has, you're right now at about 20, 25, 30% requirement, and you can traverse the journey through entire 4 years and 3 years by doing these courses, doing them well. And look, these are the courses which you can pursue for get reaching there. I think this sort of a student experience is very important as a student goes through our 4 years. Perhaps because of the volume of the students, we are not able to do that if you have to do it manually. But given the automation that we have, I think this is very much possible. And when a student goes out of such an experience and goes to the profession, I think that he'll remember all this if you have given him timely and appropriate feedback. And the only way to do it is automation of all this. We are, as Atish says, we are using SAP, and we are using SAP to a great extent by having a smooth flow of data from our portal to SAP, flagging, and then giving timely feedback to the students through every test that we do, and that is enhancing the student experience in the journey. If you look at the US universities now, and it's time to come to look at the Indian universities also, they spend about 40% of their income on the student experience because they want the students to come to their universities, and the only way to do that is enhance student experience, and that can be done only by all this automation, timely feedback, and so on. So technology infusion is going to be a great enabler in attracting students, ensuring that the students go through the journey in a very effective way. And when they go through this journey in the effective way, they will succeed in the industry, and they'll remember the experience, and that will be our the set of ambassadors that we have.
Interesting insights by Dr. Sharad Mayaskar that technology can be a game changer when you talk about the track mapping and tracking the journey of student. Uh, when student is coming in university, what kind of skill set he's acquiring and how far he will go with those skill set. That all can be tracked and mapped by the technology. And again, technology can be a game changer in that. Uh, that was Dr. Maiskar's take. Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, your take on that.
Yeah, sir. One more.
Okay, Professor
Can I? Yeah,
Sadra wants to add
yeah,
something. Quickly, sir.
yeah, yeah. The technology is also very important because one of the research studies revealed that 31% of the faculty time is being spent on just redundant activities. Suppose we use technology for evaluation, we can save a lot of time. So I echo with Dr. Sharad that technology should be used extensively, so that we can avoid the repetitive work, the redundant work, and we can focus more on making the students think. Because man is to think, machine is to work. Unfortunately, man stopped thinking. We have to encourage the students to think and act so that a lot of learning is possible, and learning experience, particular experience learning is possible, that may lead to what is that cognitive learning. That's very important, I believe. Yeah, continue, sir. Sorry.
Right. Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, your thoughts on this, sir, please.
Thank you. See, the COVID has taught us a lot. I would say that people have been repeatedly saying that. Earlier to that, we were having only our own portal, for example, called Engage Portal. Now we just moved on to Zoom, then we tried Google Meet, and then we tried Teams, Microsoft Teams. And now we are using all these platforms wherever and whenever possible. And I just had a look at it for this webinar. We could do 200 lecture hours per day and at 300 subjects per day. And we are able to manage 4,000 students at a time and the student engagement in multiple ways. I sincerely feel that is possible because of the digitization only. And otherwise, this many things doing at a time, 100 subjects and 200 lecture hours is impossible. And coming to that, we in fact experimented on evaluation also, particularly for we are basically 90% of our work is our universities engagement in programs is health university. The 10% only is non-health. There we tried theory exams in open book mode, whereas that is not allowed by the medical council, etc. So we did the theory online mode, and we could do it proctored examinations could be done, and we are also taking that that MCQs were done through our portal and assignment based exams were conducted. These were not done earlier. We were only, as somebody was trying to say, it was more of summative. Maybe probably at the end of one term, you would have done an internal assessment, second term internal assessment, third term internal assessment, and it was taken. Whereas here, we could do everything possible because of the virtual reality as well as digitization, and also being a health university. I said we just asked our students how they like it, and we did a study on this by taking a big sample size, and to my surprise that 75% of them enjoyed attending e-classes. Maybe they are attending from sitting in their own house without even having a proper attire, whereas they need not come, dress up and come. Maybe that is the reason. I don't know how the students look at it, but they said 75% of them enjoyed that e-classes, and 8 by 10 satisfaction ranking and 7 by 10 ranking of usefulness of the e-platform. So in other words, whether I like it or not, the students have started liking it, and more they are going towards the e-learning. And effectively we can use it. Being a health university, we started using it during this period even for skill based learning. What we developed the modules in our simulators. As the first module, for example, for a surgical procedure, we told them what to do, how to do, etc., and made them do hands on in a simulator for a postgraduate student. Then we took them to the advanced surgical skill enhancement division, we call it, where we did it on dummy. Then we gave live, just brought tissue to work on it. And once this module is over, we gave them the live large animal facility to see and mimic under the mentorship how exactly they were doing. So this idea itself came because of the COVID issue, because we were worried that skill-based learning is taking a backseat because of the COVID. Other cases were not getting admitted. We are not allowed to go through the elective cases at one point of time. But this worked out well, and now we have rolled out the same thing for every batch, not only for the COVID and after that also. So this is what I learned during this period of time, how well we can use the digital digital learning process through the not only the learning management systems, but also going through using our already simulators which are available, advanced simulation they are, and we effectively used is what I feel. So this is what we learned during that. But the most important thing, as I'll repeat, that 75% of the students were happy with e-learning rather than coming to the classroom learning. Thank you.
75% of students were happy and satisfied with the online mode rather than coming to the physical classes. Interesting insight indeed, Dr. M. Vijay Kumar. Dr. B. Sandil Kumar, your thoughts on that, please.
Uh, well said. Like, no, that the continuation of Professor Prasad Rao and Dr. Sharad and Dr. Vijay Kumar, being a Health Sciences University, Naga Missions, we have no, during this COVID pandemic, we have also have some kind of digital platform where it's My Kamu. It states from, like, no, from the start, from the admission process and the payment of fees and no assignments and attendance and examinations, everything, no, put together in a one platform. And before taking the admission, okay, like, no, we can say, like, no, what are the thing leakages there in the admissions, like where the sources of admissions comes from, and what is the percentage of conversion. Yeah, no, all this process has been, integrated in this common software, where we can have a very good analysis report on the admission process also. Same way, like, as Dr. Vijay Kumar said, like, we have we integrated Microsoft Team into the Camu, like, our teachers used as a media platform where they can interact with the students through various modes. And apart from that, like, say, like, a kind of we have asked the students to take up a courses, like as Dr. Sharad said, Coursera and edX. You won't believe, nearly 1,400 and some certification has been done through Coursera, and 856 certification done through edX and NPTEL. There's a SWAYAM, more courses of Government of India, nearly 656 certification done by our students, health sciences students. And what we did is like we have incorporated all the credits, we have transferred the credits to our mark sheet, and no, we have no make them that this is a very important courses and certifications which will reflect there in the mark sheet also. Apart from that, like no, because no now industry needs something like, so we have collaborated with the industries, like industry academia collaborations, where we can, we have bring some renowned people like Siemens Healthineers and GE and Bosch and Lamp, like Lawrence Mayo and Eiffel Optics, where we are doing some value-added courses for the students, and they learn apart from the curriculum, they learn more industry-oriented programs, where they once they get the degree, probably they'll have a add-on experience and add value-added courses where they'll get a better employment in the industry. So all this possible because of digitalization. Because if when you get into kind of only the offline training, the students won't take up the courses. Only if you have a digital mode, probably through online, probably the students are getting enrolled more. And as Dr. Vijay said, they're enjoying this online mode of education currently.
Right, right, right. Thanks, Dr. B. Sanil Kumar. Atish, we have come to the end of the panel discussion, but before we end, I want to have a perspective from you because you talked about the analytics. You talked about three, four parts. One is digital campus, the students' engagement, student experience, affordable education, and you also talked about analytics. And Dr. Maisker also talking about the volume of data, volume of things are there. Do you think that we are still we have reached that point where we are leveraging analytics to its full strength to for the better outcome?
So, Souvik, I don't know how many panel members would agree with me, but I personally feel, based on my experience, that this industry has not been able to adapt analytics to the full extent. It is one of the data richest industry. I'll say higher education and research has the maximum data available, and sometimes we don't know what should we do with the data, other than filing compliance reporting and satisfying the operational reporting part. But then when it comes to analytics, I'll go back to Dr. Sharad sir and Professor S.S. Rao sir. They mentioned something about the feedback. Now I'll just replace that word with advising, and not call it feedback just for the sake of analytics, and call it as advising. Now that we are moving towards a more liberal arts form of education, comparing 10 years back when we were just fixed curriculum, and now we are moving towards a liberal arts, or let me call it as a pseudo liberal arts. So let me just put an example over here. Let's take an example. The student is selecting a course in a screen, an elective course. If we can give an advising to the student at that point of time, that hey, you are selecting 5 courses, but as a faculty, I feel that you should be selecting these XYZ courses. I feel that if you take these 5 6 courses, you will perform better in your placements, better in your career, and this is the right advising I want to give. Now the universities can take an analytics that how impactful was that advising, comparing the students who took advising 100% versus the students who did not took the advising at all, and how impactful that analytics was. And then also taking analytics like, if my student is performing in this rate, after a certain period of time, what will be the CGP or a GP of a student after 2 years or 3 years? So I personally feel that we have not reached that level, but then this is an industry which has the maximum data. We may know answers to what to do and how to do, but then there's a third element to it: when to do. When is the right time to give the feedback to the student, or when is the right time to open certain applications to the student, so that ultimately this analytics would form a platform where students, faculties, and management will work together towards a common objective, that is ultimately student success. So, just to summarize, I feel there is a scope of adoption of analytics because we have not adopted it to the fullest. But then, as I said, there's no other industry who has data as higher education and research.
Right. So adoption of analytics can be seen more in coming months and coming years or so, as Atish was saying that if you
And
talk about
also, Souvik, if you allow me just 1 minute, I would just go back to Professor Tabrez sir about that affordable education. I completely agree with sir, and this is one of the trend or challenges that we have not overcome. To be very honest, we have not reached that level. We have accepted that there is a challenge about affordable education, but then again, I'll go back to analytics. If analytics can provide that data to you, that what collaboration with whom and how much collaboration do we need to provide an affordable education to all the students, maybe that's the answer we all are looking for.
Thank you.
Right, right. I think with this we have come to the end of exciting and insightful panel discussion on
Sir, one more.
quickly, sir. We don't have much time.
Yeah,
Moving.
1 minute only, not 1 minute, just one idea. For making that technology affordable, actually the corporates can just share the user technology at lower prices to the academic institutions. I think the universities can make the advantage of the technology that will be in right place to enhance the learnings of the students. And most of the so even if we go to the developed nations, they may share the use technology for this thing at lower prices, so that they can quickly adopt the technology. I think as a CSR activity, or some kind of other, whatever the means that is possible, they may provide. The corporate should come forward. Of course, it is not for profit organizations, the academic institutions. Most of the academic institutions are spending a lot of money on the infrastructure, the payment of salaries to the faculty, and building up the campus. There are so many things, in academic institution, so many things can be set up, and all that requires a lot of investment. And it's not easy that nowadays most of the academic institutions are very strong as earlier. The inflation, is hitting very high, and the on one side the fee problem. Many students are not, repaying the tuition fees, and so many challenges. But even then, the academic institutions are borrowing and paying the salaries to the faculty, the support staff, and maintaining the infrastructure, even whether the student takes advantage or not. But we need to provide that facility. It's not that easy to provide at an affordable price. Yeah, that's my take.
Right. Thank you very
So
much
with just
for
one line, I fully agree with Atish that we are sitting on a gold mine, and the surprising thing, as he says, we are not mining it.
we are sitting in a gold mine of data, but surprisingly, we are not mining it. That's what the
And you have put that
argument made
beautifully,
by
sir.
Dr. Sharad Maiskar. I think we can end the panel discussion on this note. If I take a crux of what we've discussed for last 1 hour or so, is that I think digital campus are the future, and in that digital campus, student experience will be of utmost importance, and in that we can enhance the student experience by using technology and digital transformation, in which analytics is going to play a major role in coming months and coming years. So, on this note, I thank all of you for joining us today for this panel discussion. I thank Professor Dr. Tabriz Ahmed, Dr. Surya Prasad Rao Suvadu, Dr. Sharad Maiskar, Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, Dr. B. Sendil Kumar, and Mr. Atish Shukla for joining us for this session. We end this session here. Do join us for the next session at 5 p.m. today IST, a panel discussion on the NEP oriented new vision for higher education. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sovik. Thank you, all of you.